Today, I'm excited to introduce Cathy Moore, founder of Logical Coaching, an ICF Master Certified Coach, and one of our Community Coach Connector ambassadors serving the Southeast region. Cathy has years helping leaders, teams, and fellow coaches develop greater self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. What I appreciate about her work is the wisdom and humanity to the coaching profession, helping people integrate not just what they know, but who they are. As an MCC, Cathy has achieved the highest credentialing within the coaching profession, reflecting years of experience, rigorous assessment, and a deep commitment to coaching mastery. She's also someone who actively invests in the coaching community itself, helping create opportunities for coaches to connect and learn from one another locally. Here at ICF Washington State, focused on building meaningful connections, supporting coaches at every stage of their journey, and helping shape the future of our profession. And Cathy embodies all three of those priorities, the work she does every day. Today, we'll explore her coaching journey, the lessons she's learned along the way, what helps coaches continue to evolve in their practice, and her perspective on where the profession is headed next. Cathy, thank you for being here. We are so happy to have you
Thank you for having me. It's fun to kind of hang out with you.
again.
Again, yes.
Yes. So, Cathy, I have a few questions that I know our members are interested in knowing about. The first one is around how you got into coaching. So many of us find our way through like pivotal experience or realization. Can you take us back to the moment where you realized that coaching was a work that you wanted to do more deeply?
Sure. So way back when in 2007, I was part of a strategic startup team with a startup company, and we were trying to develop leaders that were worth following. And that leader, the visionary leader, came to me and said, Cathy, you are a natural at this, and I want you to be the coach of all of our leaders as they learn to have a greater capacity to hold leadership. And I looked at her and I said, what? Kind of like my whole experience of coaching was as a youth in basketball and swim team. And I was like, okay, you want me coaching our leaders? I don't know. And she said, it's a new profession. Go out and check it out. But this is what you do naturally. You're already doing it. I just want to formalize it. And so I went and gathered a couple of books together and started reading. And I found this book that talked about the heart of coaching. And I cannot find it now. It's one of those things that happen in life, and it's like, I don't know if I actually know the book that I thought it was, but when I read it now, it reads differently. But as I read the chapter on the heart of coaching, the very essence of who we are as coaches, I just began to weep. Not those big sobbing kind, but just where you just it's just pouring out of you. And what I realized was it was me, right? And I remember looking at the author and the title and going, how did this person know me at the heart of me? And so in that moment, I knew that I had found something significant. And then it was a long journey of, I like testing something out because I wanted to make sure that what I do has long-term change, not short-term. I'm good at trauma, triage, but really what I care about is sustainable transformational change. And that started the journey. Thanks.
Nice. One of the things that stands out in your career is not only do you work with clients, but you also work to help support coaches grow and develop their practice. So, through you to support other coaches in developing their craft at that level.
Yeah. That's funny because you're going to hear a repetitive theme. The core of me, when I believe in something and I'm passionate about it, I'm all in. And I get fascinated by mastery, right? Skilling ourselves up and evolving ourselves. And so it's a natural extension of who I am to support other coaches, right? It's that generous spirit of, I believe in generously sharing what we have freely. And I believe that only together can we go the full distance of the full potential of what we can do with coaching. Um, and then for me, every space I was in, right, I've been in a lot of training courses and stuff. It is that showing up and fully engaging and offering as much as receiving in that interaction. Over the time, I've had more and more coaches approach me for mentor coaching, so more of that in-depth mastery. And I have found that that is a sweet spot for me, right? That love of mastery together and growing together, it just feeds itself. So it's a reciprocal, circular giving and receiving that happens when we're with coaches.
Yes, I love that reciprocity you talk about. So at ICF Washington State, we're always interested in sustaining coaches over the long term. And so you've been doing this for many, many years, and
Yeah.
you continue to contribute to the profession in so many different ways. After all this time, what continues to bring you the most meaning or energy in your work as a coach?
Oh, so what keeps me in the coaching, in my coaching spaces? Um, if I boil it down to the most meaningful, right? There's so many things I could say. I think the most meaningful thing is those magic moments. The magic moment where you feel the shift happening, you feel it emerging out of your client. It's right there. You can almost taste it. And just with this gentle nudge, it just blooms. And there is nothing more magical or wonderful than those moments. And with my coaching clients, it's that place where they realize they have it in them, right? And they release into that full being and doing mastery, where they're just moving in the moment. Oh, it makes me want to go. It's like you can almost taste it, and it's this whole savory experience. Um, and so I think that's when it's the most meaningful moments. The other is that I believe that coaching is this thing that sometimes our coaching is skipping pebbles on the water, and there's many skips with a client, and they walk away with many things, but it all ripples outward. So it's not just impacting them; it's impacting their community, their families, the world around them. And so it's also that uh, rippling outward impact and that belief that we're called to impact the world in positive ways.
What distinguishes a coach that continues to evolve their practice versus a coach who becomes more static over time?
Yeah. Ooh, and I would add this caveat to that, Shilin. Um, we all get static in periods of time. It's, do we notice? Are we getting complacent in the same questions or not? Are we hanging out in coaching communities that keep our refreshing our awareness and understanding about coaching? So those are part of it. I think the way the question is, how can we tell when a person
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I can tell when a person is my people, right? People who are hungry and passionate about mastery, because they're always exploring forward, right? And mastery is a journey. It's not a destination. You don't arrive at MCC and you're done. That's just a marker along the pathway. And so you can hear it in how they language things, and you can see it in where they invest their time, their money, their attention. So constantly in CCEU classes or being growth classes, right? Because mastery is partly, we need to master ourselves, our self-awareness, our understanding, our drivers, as well as mastering the competencies and the coaching models and tools. And so you can tell when a person's constantly immersing themselves in those things, in refreshing and renewing and rejuvenating what they know, but also stretching into that unknown, that uncomfortable place of going, I don't know exactly how to do this. Or what does a person mean when they show up and they cease to be in a coaching session? What the heck is that? So you can tell by the curiosity and that immersion. Almost all of them have a Yoda present in their journey, someone who's farther ahead of them that they are using as their role model or their I want to be that when I grow up.
Has that changed for you from when you just started your journey versus now that you have this time to reflect?
Yeah. Ooh, yes. And I'll add a little tidbit on what I see the journey as. New coaches need to immerse themselves in understanding what coaching is and is not. So if you think, I often think of it as an apprenticeship model. They need to take in information, understand what it means. They need to imitate others while they're under, because it gives them an ability to work with models, work with the competencies at a base level. Only after they've done that for a period of time, then it's the time where they begin to innovate. So part of the arc of journey is that place of staying right where you are and learning the basics is really a stage that needs to happen. The PCC level is where they begin to break outside of the rules and begin to immerse it. Mastery level is where it becomes, you begin to build off of what you do with the integration and application in PCC, and it's where it becomes just your way of being. It's so organic that it's just who you are. Did that answer that question?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And as someone who has achieved your MCC and credentialed, how do you recognize when that actually gets to a deeper level? Coach who is doing that, truly working at a deeper level. And why does that matter?
Mm. So the first question, how do you tell? Second question is why it matters. Okay. Mm. Have you ever watched a coach working and it just feels effortless? You can see that they're right with the client, responding to where the client is moving, what's emerging, what hasn't been said but wants to be said, catching the patterns, just so present, a presentness, that it is truly like them dancing with them and it feels effortless. That's when you know mastery is happening. The coach is holding that presence, that space, that sacred space of growth, but they are not driving it. They're not influencing it. They're not controlling it. They're just moving in tandem with the client. Deepening happens, expansion happens, the magic moments where the client goes, happens. And that's how you can tell where you're into that being so integrated that you're just being with the client. I had a group mentoring session this morning, and it was so exciting because one of my mentees got it, and she had a whole day and a half with a client. How cool would that be? And felt that place of almost of enoughness of just being there and moving with the client. That she said, I felt like there was a part of me that was on the off to the side, just watching in open mouthed wonder what was happening, because it wasn't about, it was totally was not about her. She was fully present with that client and the magic was happening. So that's how you can tell. So why is it important? Because who doesn't want that for our
Yeah.
clients, right? Who doesn't want our clients to have that place where they go, look at me grow, and all of that depth. And we need it in the world today. We need to help people be more who they are designed to be, their authentic self, aligned with what they are passionate and designed for, so that we can better our world and love each other really well as human beings on this world. So that's why it matters.
Yay, that is such a nice segue to this next question as well. Around a lot of our members have been asking, like, how do they give back and contribute in a more meaningful way? So, what
Yeah.
guidance would you give to them?
Oh, lovely, lovely. Because I do love that place, that right, that reciprocal. Do it together. Let's do our growing together. Do our being together. So, how to engage with that. First is don't wait. Just like with coaching, don't wait until you think you're good enough or that you think you have enough to offer. Just show up and offer you. Just be present in it. Be generous in what you do know, and be generous in what you don't know. Because in our asking, other people get to show up as the superheroes. In our generous giving, we get to help them lift up too. So I would say that practical would be coming to let's see if I get the words right, our CCCs, our coach connection communities, and show up, come in person, get belly to belly, give each other hugs so we get that energy together. Show up in the Zoom meetings, right? It's that showing up piece that makes the difference. Often newer coaches will hold back when they show up because they think they don't know enough. But there's the old saying, out of the mouth of babes. So don't assume that the mastery coaches know everything.
I am so excited that you raised your hand for the coach community connections, and that you were part of the original conversation where we had a focus group to determine like what this could possibly look like. And you stayed with it. And so I really, really appreciate that. I'm coming to your area, your region. I went the very first time. I love what you're talking about right now is what you do in action and in practice. I watched how you created that community and the same people are showing up again and again. Just want to say thank you for that. Before I go on to
Thank
the
you.
next question.
I received the affirmation, and I value it. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And so the coaching profession is evolving really quickly as leaders navigate the increasing complexity, uncertainty, and all the new technologies. So looking ahead, the future of coaching, how do you see the coaching profession evolving?
Yeah. Mm. Wow, things are changing really fast right now, right? And so sometimes we can get caught up in the fear of, whoa, what does this mean to our profession? I actually think it's opening up opportunities for us, right? In the past, people understood coaching kind of at a base level, right? But with AI, they can get that basic tactical, practical, smart my goals support. And what we do in coaching is that human element of coaching, of being with someone, where we see that they see us, they feel us, they hear us, right? That we're really there with them. So for me, I believe that the evolution of coaching is that there'll be even more of that. And I believe that they will want the thought partnering piece, right? That's one of the things that AI is good at, is it's a thought partner, right? But the human element thought partnering, because only another human can understand the human experience and fully understand what it feels like to be in these bodies and experience emotion and things like that. So I believe that going forward, there'll be more demand for that, right? And less of the isolation we get when we're just working with tech.
So when it comes to supporting leaders, what will leaders need the most from coaches in the years ahead?
Yeah. I know this might sound a little bit different than other people who are feeling like it's the loss of things. I'm excited because in the past, leaders in the room were the people who had all the knowledge. Now, the leaders who are going to be in the room are the people who can influence and move people. They're going to have a whole different skill set. They'll need to know what it feels like to be on the other side of themselves. So in other words, self-awareness, self-understanding, understanding how they impact the world around them, understanding other people and how to help people get unlocked from being reactive and caught up in anger or excitement or other things where they're not fully being present. And so leaders will need to know how to navigate that. Change is the way of the world now at a very rapid pace. So leaders are going to have that competency and capacity to be in that space and not have their own nervous system get over agitated or burnt out, right? So the leaders have to learn that flexibility to stay present, to hold space. And they're going to need to learn how to lift people up and release them forward so that humans go farther than they've ever gone before in the midst of stuff. And also how to hold us accountable that we don't rely on tech so much that we forget how to think. So that's how I would answer that.
I love that so much. And so for coaches themselves, what do they need to develop in order to remain relevant in the next decade?
Ooh, isn't that a juicy question, right? Relevant. Well, there are a couple different things. So I won't go into depth on all of them, but there's the business acumen, the ability to talk about what is it we do? What's the difference we make? So the return on investment, if we're speaking businessy language, so that the prospective clients can hear that and understand it and taste a little bit of that difference. The other part is we have to go even farther in our mastery of being and doing. We need to be at or ahead of where our clients are. So it'll be even more important that we understand the inner terrain and the outward terrain around us and the change environment so that we can be alongside leaders, individuals, people, families, all the areas we coach, and help others through. So almost like becoming Sherpas of the Sherpas in those spaces.
Does it differ for new coaches versus experienced coaches when we think about the technology and
Yeah.
human?
Mm. Coaches need to think about having a coaching platform that they work from that helps them manage the business more effectively side. Also, to be more effective and efficient with the capturing the client's journey so we can help them see it happening. Getting really versatile in the ethical, responsible, and efficient use of AI. And ethics is really important in that statement I just made. So places to learn how to do that.
Yes, thank you. And so, with all of that, what gives you optimism about the future of our profession?
Mm. So you can tell by my smile, right? That I really believe in the work we do as coaches and the depth of it, right? It's not fluffy. It's not light. It is really meaningful work. So my optimism is in that belief. And I believe when we believe in something, we manifest it. I believe that if coaches are reaching beyond the basics and going for the deeper, more and more individuals and organizations, family units, even community units, will begin to recognize the value and the power of having coaches alongside their journey. Short-term journeys, long-term journeys, the person they go to. And that you can't take away. AI can't replace that. Tech can't replace that. That is a human journey, and it takes a human alongside to nurture and help that journey grow.
So, Cathy, thank you so much. So, we want to let our members know a little bit more about your wisdom that you've gathered along the way with this rapid round. And so, what is a coaching book you would recommend?
Okay, there are lots of coaching books and a lot of new ones that are really cool, but this is old, tried, and true. So it's the Coaching Psychology Manual by Well Coaches, and the authors are Margaret Moore, I cannot even say his name, but Bob Moran right there. There is a new edition, so I believe in enough that I got the new. And if you look at the old, you can see all of the pieces of paper capturing the things I got of it. 4 things. Reflections go beyond just the feeding back what the client said. This will help you understand that. Appreciative inquiry helps you shift into a different activation mode. The motivational interviewing, whoa, that shifts everything. And the final piece is it has a really good section on understanding the change model, the stages of change, which changes how we show up with a client in those different stages. So, great book.
I like that one. A coach or thinker who has influenced you.
Oh, so many. I could drop a bunch of big names, but there are 2 names that always stand out, not only as impactful in my life as a human being, but really in helping me find my unique mastery voice. Fran Fisher Coaching, go look her up. Fran has been with the ICF since the very beginning. And she is the one who helped me, was my mentor, helping me get my MCC. I've taken everything she has to offer. In fact, in 2024 did her advanced certified mentor coaching. Incredible person, fabulous coach, Fran. The other one is Annie Gelfand. Annie and Fran together created the Essence of Mastery Summit. In 2017, I started going to it. They level you up in ways that you can't find in other courses. It really is the stretch. And Annie has this beautiful voice of support and challenge where you feel very supported, and boy, she challenges you. So those are 2 masterful coaches I just admire, and they're my I want to be when I grow up people.
Good. A question you return to often in your coaching.
Okay, I'm going to pivot a little bit because there are 1,000 questions, and I'm going to say this. The question I return to is the one that my client is inviting me to ask. But to give you a couple back pocket ones, I'm going to say some questions and you have fun playing with them. Here's the first one. And because, therefore, simple, sweet, and it invites the client to continue exploring.
Thank you. A mistake that you see newer coaches make.
Mm. Ooh, that word mistake automatically gets us into that space of right and wrong thinking. And I think that's the mistake newer coaches make, is they get into the place of, is this the right question? Am I doing it right? Which holds them back from being intuitive in using the competencies to guide them and using questions directly related to where the client is. So letting go of right and wrong and growing into that space of saying, I am enough and I am learning. And if the question doesn't work with my client, I'm going to find another one.
One practice that strengthens you as a coach.
Mm. I think the most powerful practice that I have is that throughout my day, every day, in all situations, I practice presencing myself. And presence, that word presence can be overused, but there are 2 parts of it. One is, who am I being and how am I being in this space? And being intentional. The second one is, am I fully present? All of me, my emotions, my energy, my thoughts. Am I in the past? Am I in the future? Am I fully present? And to practice that, you can even see me, even as I say it, all of a sudden, can you see me shift into a posture, right? So I practice that before every coaching session. During a coaching session, I check it. After it, I reset it for what's next. When I go to get on my bike and go for a bike ride, I presence. When I get up in the morning. So a daily throughout the day practice gives us the muscle ability so that when we get triggered in a coaching session by something that's ours, not our clients, we can just presence ourselves right back into being present with them. So for mastery, it is a core skill and a core muscle, and practicing it every day helps.
One piece of advice for someone early in their journey.
Oh, one piece of advice. My head has so many. find your Yoda. Find your Yoda. You want to find some masterful coaches, whether you're in a formal relationship, informal, or you're just watching from a distance. Find those people that you want to be when you grow up, and start hanging out with them, watching them, observing them. That is one of the most powerful ways that you can begin to learn where you eventually want to go, even as you stay where you are in the step you're in your journey. So that would be that one.
So finish this sentence. Coaching is powerful because.
Oh, ah. Coaching is powerful because it is all about love. It's all about loving others so deeply that we're willing to set aside ourselves and hold space for them to transform, to become more of who they are, who they want to be, and how they want to be in the world. And that that space is what makes it all happen.
Yay. Cathy, thank you so much for sharing your experience and your perspective with our community today. I'm going to take us to a close. What do you hope coaches experience or discover when they engage with your work?
Mm. Discover is discover themselves, discover their becoming, both as a being and as a doing, that integration, that becoming of a coach is what I'd want them to discover. As far as what they experience with me, it would be that they are so profoundly loved and believed in that it is so safe to recognize where it isn't yet without any judgment, and the joy and giggles of growing ourselves. It doesn't have to be misery to change and grow. It can be delightful fun, even in those discomfort spaces.
And for those who want to learn more or connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yes. So the best way probably to easily find me is if they go to LinkedIn and look up Cathy Moore, Logical Heart Coaching. They'll find me there. If they've watched this video, you get that you go, yay, that's her face. The other place is I have a platform on Delenta.com. And so if they went to, let's see, it's app.delenta.com/TA/ Cathy Moore Logical Heart Coaching. They can find me there and grab some time with me easily. Either of those routes work.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this time today, Cathy. This was
You're welcome.
more than I thought it would be. Always connecting with you. I remember every
It
time
was
I
fun.
connect with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Thank
thank
you.
you.